Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Sam Kwak with one of the Kwak Brothers here, and I get this question a lot. Sam and Daniel, how did you guys go from zero rental units to 75 rental units in just 1 year? And a lot of people think that we're like lying or like kidding or we're just fluctuating our number or exaggerating. Guys, like, I got to tell you honest truth. We went from zero to 75 rental units in just 1 year. A lot of it came from, single family. We also have an apartment complex up there. We got, let's see, an 8 unit here somewhere. Yep, an 8 unit over here. We just closed on this, which is an Airbnb deal. So we went from zero to 75 units, and like everything, there's a beginning. And we first got started back in 2014. We were still in college. I was a junior, and Daniel was a sophomore in college. We actually went to the same college, and like everyone else, right, we read this book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, which really inspired us to get into real estate investing. This whole idea of being able to collect rent and just sitting back, relaxing as the mail money came. We loved the idea. We wanted to create financial freedom as well as control over our finances. Like we want to be able to retire early so that we can go devote ourselves into like a mission, being able to go out and help and serve people. And we just felt that we were limited in the amount of people that we can serve unless we were financially secured. Same thing with our family. Like eventually we want to have our family. We want to be able to serve our family, and we can't do that at the maximum capacity, right? We want to be able to spend time with our kids and our family and so on. We won't be able to do that without having some time freedom. So we got into real estate investing, and like everyone else, we started going on YouTube, just like you guys watching YouTube videos about real estate investing. We went to seminars. We bought a bunch of books. You can see here I got all these books. More books here and more books over there. We bought books after books after books, looking to get some more information about real estate investing. And honestly, guys, we felt a little frustrated. We felt trapped. We felt like we were stuck because every time we made an offer, we were getting turned down. Like no one was taking us seriously. And I'm sure you guys are either there or you guys have been there where, man, like I don't know if this real estate investing thing is the right thing for us. Like we were this close from quitting because nothing was happening. We weren't making any money. People were laughing at us and making fun of us, saying, hey, Sam and Daniel, you guys are in real estate, but you're not making any money. What's going on? So we were at one point, we were very hopeless. We were frustrated. And I don't know how this happened, but eventually, we actually ended up meeting with a local mentor in this area, in our area, and this individual happened to have 200 and 250 doors, rental doors, and we saw this person as an expert, right? He had over 200 rental units, and we're like, hey, we got to work with this guy. Like, we need to learn. We need to know exactly what this guy knows so that we can go and replicate. So one of the things I've learned very early on is if you want to be good at something like real estate, business, entrepreneurship in general, you have to find someone who's really, really good at it and model what they do, right? Do what they do, act like they do, act, and talk like they talk. And we really honed in on this idea. We need to replicate someone else's success. So we found this guy's contact info. We called him, we emailed him, we asked him for lunch, and we finally managed to get him out to lunch. And it got to a point where we were actually working for this guy for free for months on end. I know we were still in school, we were still in college, so that was somewhat acceptable. We had a dorm apartment that we were staying in. Food was somewhat provided. I mean, we were still paycheck to paycheck. We didn't have a ton of money. In fact, there's a separate story that I was in terrible debt, and there's a strategy that I was able to get out of it. But coming back to real estate, we ended up working for this guy for free. We did his social media. We managed some of his marketing. And everywhere he went to go do a deal, we went and followed to see what he was doing. And something that he taught us the most, there's two concepts, just looking back at what made us successful, like how we went from zero to 75 rental units. There were really two things that we learned from this mentor as well as other mentors in the way. But the one particular aspect a skill set that we learned from this particular mentor was learning how to negotiate for owner financing. Now, for those who don't know what owner financing is, it's a concept where you negotiate with the seller, a seller of a property, and you make an arrangement to where you make the seller a monthly payment, just like a bank, except obviously the seller isn't going to check your credit. They're not going to go through your tax return. So when you go get financing through a bank, it's likely, actually it's required, it's likely that they're going to check your credit, they're going to check your income, they're going to check your tax return. And a lot of times they may deny you because lack of experience, lack of credit, etc. But with owner financing, if you know how to negotiate for it, if you know how to ask the right question, you can make an arrangement where you just make monthly payments to the seller in exchange for the ownership of the property. So this gave us a lot of opportunity. This opened doors for us because A, we're young, so we didn't have the best credit. And B, there's no way in the world that a bank is ever going to loan $1 million to 22-year-old and 20-year-old. So back then when we first got started, I was 22, my brother was 20. And we first figured that out. Now, so we started learning how to do owner financing. We started knowing how to negotiate for owner financing. We were going out there putting deals under contract, and there was one teeny weeny little bit problem, and that was sellers were asking for down payment, and we were doing really well up to the point where the seller said, "Yep, I'll do owner financing. I'll take this much of monthly payment, and we'll give you the property, but I'm going to ask you for down payment." And we were distraught because every owner financing deal that we were negotiating, they always ended up asking for some sort of down payment, whether it be a 20%, 10%, 5%. But 5% on $1 million property is still a lot of money. So we came to another phase where, like, man, like, we made it to this point, but we're stuck again. We're frustrated. Like, man, like, why don't these sellers just take no money down? And we were rather frustrated. And I remember Daniel and I, we were on vacation, we were traveling. And you guys, for those that know me, I don't own any TV. I don't have any TV at my house. And so I was at a hotel and I was watching TV. I'm like, oh, cool, TV. Like I don't have TV. So I was watching TV, and a lot of you guys know the show Shark Tank, right? ABC Shark Tank with Kevin O'Leary. I'm trying to think who else. I haven't seen Shark Tank in a while, so don't hold me against it. But I was watching Shark Tank, and all I remember was Kevin O'Leary was in the show, and there was a contestant that walks in this particular episode. He's dressed really sharp. He looks very well presented. And he comes in and says, "Hey, Shark, my name is such and such. I have a business idea. I never owned a business. I never made money in business, but I have this really awesome business idea." And I'm thinking, I've seen the show enough where I'm thinking, well, this guy's going to get cooked alive by Kevin O'Leary because he never made any money. There's no sales, right? Because you guys know, if you know Kevin O'Leary, he's always about the sales, right? He's always about the numbers. So here I am thinking, wow, this guy's gonna get cooked. He's gonna go home without any investment. Like, this is gonna be a huge waste of time for this guy. And he started opening his mouth. He introduced himself, and he started laying out this business plan. And he had this folder, the copies of his business plan, and he sounded very sharp. He was articulate. He was laying out all the questions, or he was laying out all the answers to the questions that the sharks were asking. And the more that I watched, and I'm like, this guy's actually pretty good. Like, this guy might have a chance. And long story short, at the end of the episode, this guy actually ends up walking away from the show with $100,000 investment from none other than Mr. Wonderful himself. And I was literally blown away. I'm like, there's no way this is possible. But at the same time, a light bulb went in my head. I'm like, wait a minute. So this guy walks in, zero business experience, never made money in business, walks in with $100,000 from Mr. Wonderful. Is it possible that I can replicate this in real estate? And I sort of scratched my head. I'm like, how will this work? So Daniel and I started thinking, and our wheels started turning. I'm like, okay, so let's do this. Let's do exactly what this guy did. Put together a business plan, put together a deal prospectus, and we're gonna go and network with people who have a ton of money in our area. So that's exactly what we did. We started going to Chamber of Commerce. We started going to meetup events. We started going into networking events, and we started creating network and relationships with individuals who had lots of money, who were high net worth individuals. So long story short, after months and months and months of just looking for people and just hunting down capital, we finally managed to find someone who actually ended up becoming our first investor and wrote us a check for $60,000 for our first deal. And I think, yeah, that $60,000 investment went to this deal, this deal, and this deal. So we did 4 single family properties with that first investment. And guys, that was a huge game changer, because now we realize we can replicate those steps, right? We can go and find deals, negotiate for owner financing, which didn't involve any of our own credit. And then we went out there to go and raise the capital, which meant that we didn't have to use our own money. So with those two combination, guys, that means we didn't have to use our own credit. Okay, no credit necessary, and we didn't have to use any of our money. So for those who are stuck and you're like, man, I don't have any money, I don't have any credit, this real estate investing thing isn't going to work for me. Guys, there's ways, there's hope, right? Even for us, we told you how we got started, right? Understanding how to negotiate for owner financing and also raising capital. And this is how we got to 75 rental units. And this isn't all the deals that we're doing. We're gonna have to put some more over there because we're running out of space on this corner. But this is some of these 75 rental units that we have, as well as multiple fix and flips that we're working on. So guys, if you want us to show you how we did it, give you the foundation and the sort of the first few steps to getting into real estate investing the way that we did, Daniel and I, my brother and I, we actually wrote a free book called 0 to 75 Rental Units in 1 Year. I know this might be flipped or backwards for you guys, but it says 0 to 75 rental units in just 1 year. It's a free book, guys, that we're giving away. All we're asking for you to do is pay for shipping. So if you guys want a copy of this free book that we're giving away, go to 0 to 75 rentalunits.com. In fact, I actually have a phone call coming in. Okay. So it's 0 to 75units.com. I hope that you can see this here, 0 to 75. So number 0. TOUNITS.com. So I'm going to go ahead and actually include that in the link description below, so that you don't have to actually type it in and do all the hard work of typing things in and the address bar above. So go ahead and look down below. I'm going to go ahead and include the link to grab a free copy of our book, 0 to 75 units in just 1 year. I'm going to go and leave the link description down below. All I'm going to ask you guys to do is pay for the shipping so that we can get this out to you guys as fast as possible. So I hope my story gave you some hope and encouragement, because a lot of you guys might be feeling stuck because you don't have capital, or you don't have credit, you don't have a mentor, or you don't have any knowledge. Guys, it all starts with knowing what you need to do and setting the foundation. So this book is going to go and show you what you need to have, like what are the key pillars that are absolutely necessary for you to know how to negotiate for owner financing, as well as learning how to raise capital. And this book is going to go and give you the first few steps, as well as I'm going to give you 4 bonuses, which the first bonus, I'm going to show you what I do to negotiate for owner financing. The second thing is how we raise capital. What is our number 1 source of capital? We're going to show you how we find off-market deals as well. I'm going to give you my secret tactic. And I'm going to give you one more bonus, which is a free 30-minute exercise on how we analyze deals. So you'll get all 4 of those for free on top of the physical book. You just need to go to 0 to 75units.com. So guys, I'll see you there. I hope my story was very encouraging and give you some motivation and hope that you guys can also become a success story as much as we are. And I hope to see you guys have your own deal wall being made and being done. And I really hope to see you guys grow and become a success story as well. Guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next